One day after it broke free and drifted into the Clay Wade-Bailey Bridge, the waterfront is now in a temporary home.
The floating restaurant was towed just downriver to Taylorsport, where it will stay until it's moved to a permanent location. That is expected to be at Covington Landing, and that's where Local 12 News reporter Larry.Davis is now with how this incident will affect plans for Covington's riverfront. Larry.
Hi, Kit. Well, this is Covington Landing, and many of you may recall that this used to be a pretty happening place. Remember the Yucatan liquor stand and how in the Moon Saloon back here back in the years now. But city officials say that plans are still in the works right now to breathe new life into the Covington Landing and the rest of the riverfront. One day after the waterfront broke free from its moorings and bumped up against the Clay Wade-Bailey Bridge, the floating restaurant was being towed downriver to a temporary home. Despite Thursday's setback, waterfront owner Jeff Ruby said that he still plans to permanently relocate the barge at the Covington Landing.
I've got 3 marine engineering companies, actually 4. Been working on this for almost 2 years now on how we're going to moor this thing with the new barge I added to be the approach barge for the waterfront. And that's where it's going to be at Covington Landing, where we won't have this problem.
With the problems surrounding the waterfront, it was the second time it has broken free on the riverbank in recent years, and the recent departure of the Mike Fink restaurant, one may wonder about the future of Covington's riverfront.
It's obviously had another bump in the road, but nothing that we're not used to dealing with.
More than 2 decades ago, the Covington Landing opened amid a lot of hope. But businesses later closed, and the development was reduced to a leaky, abandoned shell. Covington Vice Mayor Steve Frank says the city still has big plans for a redesigned, totally different riverfront.
And there will be a bridge of a marina that will come out and will shelter not only the waterfront, but hopefully some other developments that may come along. And it'll be a very happening place. In fact, there's a lot of great things that are anticipated in Covington.
And Frank says that new-look riverfront will complement what's been happening on the Cincinnati side of the Ohio River. It will include the waterfront at the new Covington Landing.
I cannot wait till I can walk down and get crab legs and a great steak at Jeff Ruby's.
And Kit, Jeff Ruby told us yesterday that he hopes to have the waterfront back up here and operating at the Covington Landing in the spring of 2015. Live in Covington, Larry.Davis, Local 12 News. Get back to you.
And I'm sure much depends on this, Larry. Covington city officials say they are awaiting word on funding as well as permits before they can proceed with plans to redevelop the riverfront.